Welcome. Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Sir Harry Richards. Welcome to the show, Keeping the Alpha Male Agenda Alive. I hope everyone is doing fine. I hope your weekend has been a good one because I know you're just looking forward to going back to the work office tomorrow. Yeah, I know you are. Anyway, this evening, we're going to have a very exciting show. I have a guest, Miss Mary. How are you, Miss Mary?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Do you have my Christmas present ready?
Oh, of course. The
You
same
do?
thing I gave you last year.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm still waiting on it. All right. Okay. Well, everybody, let's get right to it. Let's have some fun. So let's have a very serious discussion. All right. Well, Miss Mary,
Yes.
I'd like to know what helps to shape a boy into a man? In your
I think
humble
the guidance.
opinion.
I think the guidance of a mother and a father, and sometimes when that father is not in the home,
Yes.
a strong male role figure. For that man, that young man.
That's good. That's good because men, strong men, are needed always, and especially today.
Of course.
Strong men are needed because these boys are just going astray. They're going astray, and it's biblical for a father to be with his sons. Would you agree?
Of course, I agree. Of course. I think just like there are children that are raised by one parent.
Yes.
If it's a female, I'm sure she needs the love of a male in her life. It may not be her father.
Yes.
It could be an uncle or a cousin, but a male figure, that she can look up to.
Yes.
And on the other hand, where there's like a son or a male that's raised by a female, he definitely needs that male figure to look up to. Like I said, whether it could be his older brother, it could be an older cousin, it could be an uncle, but they need it. You need that balance.
All right. Okay.
You just can't let one person do it all.
That's true. All right. Well, in your opinion, what is the first true sign of a boy? What's the first true sign of a boy?
What do you mean? What is the first true sign of a boy? What do you mean?
Well,
because I don't really understand the question.
How does he know that he's a boy? How does he know?
That's a good question. I think they can go by how society treats them, how he's being treated by his counterpart, how he's treated by his mom or his dad. He would know by that. I mean, if you're going to treat him like a little girl, then he may think that he's a little girl.
Yes, and you know how that can turn out.
Right. So I think it's how he's being treated by his parents, his family, and his counterparts.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Got a question for you, another one for you. How do you start each day? How do you start your day?
I start my day by thanking God for keeping me safe throughout the night and waking me up in the morning.
Yes.
Whether I'm on my knees or whether I'm laying in bed or, walking around trying to get breakfast or whatever it is for that day. I have to thank God for keeping me safe throughout the night because he did not have to wake me up.
Yeah. And do you feel that children should be included in that when they're being raised, or even when they're grown?
Yes, I do, but it's more so to me implanted in a child when they're younger.
Yeah.
because they said train a child
Yes.
up the way he should.
Preach, sister, preach.
When he's grown, when he's older, he will not depart from it.
All
and
right.
you remember those things.
Even
I remember certain things
right.
that I was taught. And of course, we're going to go astray.
Yes.
But you still remember where you came from and what you were taught.
All right. I'll be sure to come to your church, Pastor.
Okay.
Hey, listen. What are 3 things you learned from your father that no other man could have taught you?
Let's see. One thing Dad taught me was I remember I was having problems with my older child.
Okay.
And I just couldn't understand, why was she acting like this? And my father told me, he said, because you're the closest thing to her. So I guess people that are hurting, they're going to hurt the closest person to them. He told me that because I had never looked at it like that.
All right.
Let's see. The second thing, I won't say he taught me, but it made me want to, trying to get things from my father was like trying to get blood from a turnip. But then when those floodgates would open, he would not be quiet. So I learned not to interrupt him like I do sometimes, interrupt people when they're talking. But I learned to be quiet and just to listen a lot, because those conversations were kind of far and few in between. Yes. So I learned, or he taught me indirectly how to listen when I'm trying to especially to a male. Like I said, some men are very open and some men are very,
that's true,
conservative, like my father was. So I learned to listen.
Okay.
But the majority of the time I don't.
All right.
I have to get my word in. I have to get my little 2 cents in.
All right. Hey, Mary, now we're all guilty of this name calling. As it pertains to children, what do you think are the effects of name calling to a child?
Oh, I think that works both ways, not just men, but for women too.
Yes.
For females also. We were never brought up like that. Yes. We were not called out of our name. I've never called any of my children out of their name.
That's good.
Now, grant, not to their face. No. Yeah. Sometimes you may think, what is this heifer doing?
Right.
But I'm thinking it within myself. But will I actually call her a heifer? No, I would not. Yes. I wouldn't call her a bee or whore. I wouldn't do that. Yeah. And I've never done it. Yeah. I've never called my husband out of his name. Under my breath I have. But no, I've never called my husband out of his name.
I understand. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. How does name calling affect the children? What would you say? What would you say?
I feel it degrades them.
Yes.
I really do. I feel it just makes them feel so low. And for some children, it's everyday language to them.
Yes, that's right.
This is all they hear. This is all they know. And for someone not to speak to them in that way, they think that something's wrong.
Yeah. Do you think it affects them as when they become grown?
I think so.
Yes.
I do. I think, in fact, I saw something like this on one of the, what do you call it, the little court TVs.
Yeah.
The other day, where this young man, in fact, he was African American, and he was called every name in the book by his mom.
Wow.
And he said he got tired of it one day, and he wanted to stand up because he didn't appreciate his mother talking to him. He said, I was every name in the book.
You think it played on his self-esteem?
To a point, yes,
Yeah.
especially when they're younger. I think some of them get stuck in a situation where they're used to that. But if you can break yourself from that mold, you are a better person than anyone. And sometimes you have to break yourself. Sometimes you have to break that cycle.
Right. Do you think that they believe the names that they've been called? Just heifer and all those other names?
Some of them, it depends on the individual. Everybody's not the same. So some people can rise above it where it may not affect them too much, whereas some other people this is what they expect. That's just like physical abuse. So what you gonna do? You gonna hit me?
Yeah.
They're used to that. This is what they're used to. So it's sad, but that's how some people are in society.
And speaking of physical abuse, do you think it's worse for the physical abuser or the words? What's the difference? And do you think physical abuse is worse than verbal abuse?
I think verbal is worse than physical. I really do, because you can hit someone, and of course they remember how it feels.
Yes.
The pain, but eventually I think that person gets over it. But once those words are left from our mouth, you can never pull them back.
That is correct.
And I think that the verbal is worse than the physical.
All right. And what is forgiveness? What is love?
Love to me is it's different with your children, and it's a little different when it comes to your mate or your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend.
Yes.
They're different to me. They're different types of love. I was ecstatic when my son was born. I love him to death.
Yes.
But then there's also a difference between the love that I have for my spouse. And I got lost. So what was the question?
I said what was love and what is forgiveness? And speaking about forgiveness, there are some that feel that forgiveness should just be automatic, no matter what happens to you.
I don't think forgiveness is automatic. I feel like forgiveness is something that an individual person has to work on themselves to forgive another person for whatever the case may be. It's always due to someone feeling hurt or unappreciative. How could this person do that to me, or how could that person say that to me? So you're looking to be appreciative, but also how could you? Sometimes the hurt is not at that particular person. It could be indirect.
Right.
But that person also feels hurt. So forgiveness and love are two different things. They're two different things. I can forgive someone for doing that. That doesn't necessarily mean that I love you.
Do you feel that you should go to the person and ask for their forgiveness?
It depends on what that person did to me. And it also depends on how hurt I feel. But no, I don't think you necessarily have to go to someone and say, please forgive me for doing this to you, or vice versa, or I forgive you for doing whatever it is I feel like you hurt me with, you know? You don't necessarily have to tell that person, well, I forgave you. That's between you and your maker. That's because I went through certain things with a sibling, but I had to forgive that sibling.
Well, listen. The Bible says, ask and you shall receive.
That's true too, but no one knows your heart but God.
That's true.
No one knows our heart but God. You know, God knows when we're sincere, and He knows when we're BSing. So I can sit up and say, "Oh, you know, Lord, you know what I did was right. You know what I said to that person was right." But really, whose justification am I trying to get? Mine or God?
But how can you get forgiveness, but you don't ask for it?
That is true, but how can you get forgiveness if you don't forgive? You have to forgive in order to get forgiven of your sins or your misdeeds.
I think I really feel that you should go to the person and ask for forgiveness.
Well, I feel like it depends on, it depends. It depends. You know, we don't know how we've hurt others.
Yes.
With what we have done. You know, we can always say, I only did such and such a thing, or I only said such and such a thing, but we don't know how it affects the next person that it was thrown to. We just don't know. It's good that, yes, we could go to that person and say, please, I was wrong, please forgive me. Yeah. But how often does that happen? It doesn't happen that much, and it doesn't mean that just because I don't go to
not enough
and say, please forgive me, in order for me to be forgiven.
And
I can always say, I'm sorry.
And what about repentance?
Well, that's between you and God. It has nothing to do with the individual person. That's between you and God. If you want to repent, you can repent of your sins. If you don't want to repent, you don't have to. But God knows. God knows.
All right.
So you can fool everybody all the time, but you can't fool God at all.
That is right. That is right. Okay. Well, here's one that I think about sometimes. How do you want to be remembered at the end of your life? What would you hope that you have left in this world for people to say and for people to remember about Miss Mary?
Miss Mary, let's see.
Yes.
I would hope people would think that I was a good-hearted person.
Okay.
That I was not a mean-spirited person, and that I would try to help people however I can, whether it would be through talking with that person or helping them some kind of way, whether it be financial or physical, help, that I did try to help that person. Right. Because it's easy for us to sit back and judge people, because I'm guilty of it myself. But we cannot judge people because we don't know what that person has been through. We don't. We're quick to judge others.
Yes. Yes, we're all guilty of that. Mm-hmm. Yes, we are.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. All right.
But judge not, lest ye be judged.
That's true. That is so true. All right, moving on. What are 5 things you feel that fathers should be teaching boys?
Let's see, 5 things. Okay.
5 things.
That is okay to cry.
Oh.
When they're little, when they're young and little, you have to let them know it's okay to cry. You don't tell them big boys don't cry.
That's a real big one.
Right. You let them cry. Let them express, their hurt. or their dissatisfaction with something.
Yes.
You let them cry. Another thing is, I feel, I came up in the era where, you don't ask questions. You don't talk back. If daddy said, or mom said, whatever, you have to take it. And I feel that's wrong because children, they have opinions.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily mean that we have to agree with them, but they let them express their opinions.
Yes.
Let's see. Another one would be, I won't say let them get away with things, but let them make decisions. Let them, they're going to mess up. Let them mess up. Also ask them when they do mess up, ask them, how do you think you should be punished? What do you think I should do? Because we weren't given a choice. And a lot of people may not say, give them a choice, tell them how, ask them how they should be punished. That's wrong. You're the parent. Well, yeah, we're the parent, but does it necessarily mean that we have to put their nose all in it? Can't you take it from another aspect and ask that person, well, what do you think I should do to you? What should your punishment be? Because you disobeyed. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's see, what's another one? I can't think of another one right now. Oh yeah, I can think of another one. You know how you have, we're going to have a family discussion about certain things. Usually it's the husband and the wife. Sometimes the children would like to be in on certain things, certain conversations.
All right, let me ask you this. Do you choose their punishment or your own?
What do you mean, do I choose my punishment?
Well, when okay, are your children grown?
Yes, I have grown children.
Coming up, would you choose the punishment for them, or would you choose their punishment that they felt that they should get?
Well, of course, I did everything wrong. That's why I have so much knowledge now, because I messed it up. I messed it up with them. Because now people may not agree with me, but I feel like my mother was kind of harsh on me.
Yes. Why do you feel that way?
I have no idea, but I know what I went through.
Yeah.
I know what I went through, and I feel like she was harsh on me compared to my sister.
All right.
I gotta compare it to somebody. So compared to my sister, I feel like my mother was harsh on me. So I couldn't choose my punishment. I already knew what my punishment was going to be. It was going to be the belt.
You gonna get it. All right. Hey.
Yeah, but now that I'm older, I would let my child choose, depending on the disobedience, what that person did, or what they weren't supposed to do. Yeah, I would let them choose. What do you think I should do? What do you think we should do?
I think that we as parents should give out the punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Give out the punishment. The kids, of course, they're probably going to choose something that's real easy.
Of course, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with them. There's nothing wrong with discussing anything. That's why I said, what do you think? Not what should I, or how should I. I said, what do you think?
I think the children should accept the punishment, whatever the punishment should be from the parents. That's what I think. Yeah.
But yet still you have some parents that go to the extreme with their punishments.
Yeah, that is true.
And I think that's wrong. Okay, yeah. Say for instance, the child got a C, and you felt like he should have gotten an A. Does that mean you take something from them that they like for 3 months?
You know
3
what?
months, really?
Yeah, that is kind of extreme. I get it.
That's extreme. Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah. So, in fact, my thing is, I wouldn't ask the child every time they disobey, "Oh, what do you think your punishment should be?"
Oh no.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I would ask that person, well, okay, you did such a thing.
All right.
What do you think? What do you think your punishment should be?
All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna stick with this, but I'm gonna ask you in a different way. What are some of the things that you think women should not teach boys?
Should not?
Yeah.
Well, I should not teach boys. Well, teach you. Well,
it's a different world where we're growing up in now.
Yeah, that's true. But I think they should teach them how to respect not only themselves, but to respect their elders.
Wait a minute.
Not to be disrespectful,
No, I was asking, what should they not teach boys?
Don't teach them to just roll over and accept anything.
All right.
I think, let's see, you said not teach them.
Yes.
Not teach them not to think for themselves.
All right.
Don't teach them to be disrespectful.
Yes.
What else? I think y'all would teach them to be a hard worker. Oh, you said not to teach them.
Not to teach them.
Not to teach them that things are going to be given to them.
Right.
Because it's hard for women, but to me it's harder for a male.
Yes. Well,
I think it's harder for black males. So
you have.
Go ahead.
You have some of these women that just do whatever you feel and speak your mind, and that's the wrong way to tell your children. That's just wrong. That's just wrong.
But there's a way to do everything.
Right, and they're not being taught respectfulness.
Right.
When addressing grown people or whatever the problem is. You just say whatever you want. Not that.
Right.
You're not gonna get too far in life doing that.
No, you're not. No, you're not gonna get far at all.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that being flipped out, that's the way to go, but it's not.
Yes, because for a boy to be brought up to be an alpha man, he's got to learn how to respect, how to speak. It's a give and take. You can't just overpower every situation with your words just because you are a grown man.
True.
That is not going to work. And there are a lot of ladies that teach their sons just the opposite. And that is wrong. That is wrong. All right.
And first and foremost, you have to respect yourself. They have to respect themselves.
All right. Well, everyone, we're so happy that you are tuning in to our broadcast. And we have Miss Mary, our guest, and she's laying down a lot of good information. So I am so happy to be just asking the questions and learning the female point of view. Thank you so much, Miss Mary, this evening. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let me know, please, what does it take? What does it mean when you say to know oneself? What does that mean?
To know oneself.
Yes.
I think each and every day, when you're as a child, and then you're growing each and every day.
Yes.
So to know oneself, you have to understand what you believe in, and you're going to stand up for your belief. Whatever your belief is, you're going to stand up for that, no matter what. So I think whatever you believe in,
yes,
that's to know yourself.
All right.
That's to know yourself, because we all have different beliefs.
All right.
Some are good and some are bad. Some of them are negative, some of them are very positive beliefs.
All right.
So I feel like our beliefs is for a person to know themselves.
Okay. All right. Moving on. How should a boy present himself in public? What are your feelings about that? How should a boy present himself? I mean, you see today they're sagging their pants, they can't tie their shoes, the long hair, looking like a woman. I mean, it's just the earrings.
I'm really not trying to put anyone down, but I guess because I'm stuck in my ways, I don't like to see men in braids. I just don't.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that he's less respected because he has plaits or braids in his hair. I just don't like to see it, but I see it all the time.
Yeah.
I think that a young man should present himself, whether he's in a suit or whether he's casual.
Okay.
Just to look nice. Like you said, the sagging of the pants. I'm surprised that that's still going on to this day.
Let me ask you this.
Absolutely nasty.
Now, an alpha man, I don't believe you would see an alpha man with his pants sagging, with his braids running down his neck, talking any kind of way. What do you think? And and wearing of the earrings. Lip gloss.
Wearing of the earrings where? Because you have nose rings.
Ooh.
And you have the earrings.
All right.
And the reason why you see different things, different fads happening and sticking, is because they're fads. Well, fad meant, I remember, I could be wrong. I forget which year it is, or it used to be, where it meant that you were gay. And then it started catching on with the regular men, heterosexual men.
Yeah.
And they started wearing the earrings. So now it's anything goes with the earrings. You have, not only do you have them with the piercing of one ear, it's both ears.
Yes.
So, and then the hair. I like I said, I don't like it.
Yes.
I don't like it, but where they're in ponytails, 2 ponytails. What's his name? Snoop Dogg used to do it.
Yeah, okay. Do you think it's demasculating for the men to I guess to dress in the hip hop manner?
It depends on where that particular person's head is.
Yes.
A lot of them think that we used to dress like this when we were back in Africa, and they don't like people telling them how to dress.
All right. Wow.
So sometimes some certain things go back to slavery, and then they don't want anyone telling them how to dress or what to do, because to them that's like their taskmaster telling them what to do.
All right. Mary, do you remember 60 Minutes?
Oh, sure.
Remember Ed Bradley?
Yes, I remember him.
Now, he wore one earring. Would you say that he was an alpha male? Because me personally, I thought he was. I looked up to him. I thought he was a cool brother. I don't know him. I never knew him personally. But I think that him wearing that one earring, it didn't bother me. But then again, Ed Bradley being on the CBS News wasn't, wearing his pants sagging down. He was interviewing presidents and kings.
All right. Well, I think it depends on how a person carries himself. And what we saw, he carried himself very well.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Right. So that didn't take anything from him.
Yes.
It all goes down to how you carry yourself.
Yes,
That's how I feel.
I think that they're being led by. I don't know. I don't know who these young men are being led by, but
that's true too. Being the sagging of the pants came from prison.
That's right. I mean, why would anybody in their right mind want to look up to somebody who's been in prison?
True. That's so true.
Yeah, I mean, they're just. It just bothers me that they emulate the prison life, and it's what we're trying to keep our young men from.
But look at the morals of the world. Look at the morals of the world. Not just the United States alone. It's worldwide. Yes.
We need more alpha men. We really do. We do.
Yeah. You do, but how? Just like you've been asking me questions. So how would a person raise or try to raise an alpha male?
Well, I think. Well, okay. My answer would be to read my book, How to Raise Boys to Become an Alpha Man, because it's very detailed and it'll be out for Christmas for everyone to read.
Okay.
It's very detailed.
Okay, but give us a little tidbit. just one little bit.
Well, alpha men are respected. They don't fool around. They know what they want. They know how to go about getting it. And they're not led by, just some unknown force. They get up, they get up, and they go get it. They're responsible. They go to work. They're not sitting back, you know what, I guess I'll just, wear my pants any kind of way. And their attitude is above all. I mean, they know how to think. No one's telling them what to do. They don't spend time looking at, video games all damn day. And I mean, this generation of boys they're not productive.
No, they're not.
They're not productive.
But you know what? But then too, not only does it start at home, but you have when they go out and they want to meet a woman, and she accepts whatever it is that he dishes out.
And that is sad.
Oh, negative.
That is sad.
Where you say, you just say, well, I got a man. No. You just don't. I got a man.
Mary, I'm sure that I could not come and date your daughter, and I pull up to your house. I'm playing all kinds of disrespectful music. My pants are sagging, and I want to come and date your boo, and all this foolishness. It's just sagging. It just gets on my nerves. It does.
I agree with you. With you.
Okay.
I really do.
Well, listen. I'm going to switch gears, and we're going to talk about a little bit of marriage, everybody's favorite subject. All right. Here's the question: in a tumultuous marriage, should a husband or wife stay or leave and seek true happiness, whatever that may be? But I mean, you're catching hell. Should you stay, and why? should you stay?
If I'm catching hell, no, eventually I would have to go. Honestly. But then you have some people that they stay. They initially stay for the children. You know, and then after they stay for the children, you know, which they think that they're doing something good, but in actuality, you're not, because I feel like it hurts the children more so than it's hurt the mother and father.
I would agree. Children catch on. Children are not dummies. They have a feeling of what's going on.
All right.
And as they get older, they can tell you exactly what's going on.
All right. That's true. Yeah.
Do you?
What?
And what if there are no children?
Oh, get the heck! Run like the wind.
Run like the wind. No, a lot of us make mistakes and just stick around, and you get. I'll say you get lazy, and you just put up with whatever, and that can't be good for one's psyche at all. It cannot be. It cannot be.
It's not good for either party, though. It's not.
I would agree.
Because you end up hating each other. You really do.
Yeah.
You end up hating each other.
Yes, I would agree.
And you don't want to do that.
All right. Listen, there's an old saying about burning bridges. Don't burn the bridges that you cannot cross back over on. Have you ever burned a bridge? And if so, why?
See, I was always taught never burn any bridges because you never know when you're going to cross back over that bridge. So have I ever burned any bridges?
Yes.
I want to say yes. I burned one bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I'm thinking, yes, I burned one bridge.
All right.
And I haven't. I tried to cross over that bridge, but I just couldn't find it. I couldn't find the bridge. Yeah, I tried. I burned one bridge, and I tried to cross the bridge, but
listen.
Once I burned that bridge, that was it.
All right. I was going to ask you, did that bridge have water under it? If it did, could you swim?
Yes, it had water under it, and I think I tried to keep myself afloat.
All right. Listen, at what age do you think that parents should cut financial ties from their children?
It depends on how financially hooked or strapped my child is, and because I can say, at 18 or at 20, no, because how mature are you or are your children at that age?
Yeah.
You have some children that are very mature, and you have some that are still growing. You know, some of them still trying to find themselves or whatever.
All right.
I can't really put an age on it. I can't put a number on it. Not right now.
What about if your children are in their 30s or 40s? Should you help them out?
It depends on what type of help they're looking for. If they're looking for financial help, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Not at 40, no. I can't help you. I'm sorry. But I mean, there are different ways to help children. You know, if I know my child is a person that keeps a job, and then they fall on hard times, yes, I'm gonna help my child out. Yeah. But if I know you're just no good, no. You know how you try to help them, and you think maybe they'll be better, and then once I see that you're just trying to use me, no. I cut you off. That's it.
All right.
I might throw you a morsel every now and then, but
throw them a bone, huh?
Yeah, I'll throw you a bone, but no, it's not gonna be like you're a young child, you know. No.
All right. Okay, that's a very good answer. What do you think is the strongest thing a man can do? The strongest thing you think a man can do?
Support a man or husband?
A man.
Okay, support his mother. And when I say support her,
Yes.
I don't mean financially. I mean, if your mother is trying to do something, support her. Be supportive of her.
Okay.
Let me put it to you like that. Be supportive of your mother. Although you may have had a dad that was right there, moms basically are the backbone of the family. And I feel like it should be at least 50-50, but it's never 50-50.
Yeah.
Never. Because moms are always doing this, that, and the other for their family.
Right.
So I would say the best thing a male could do is be supportive of his mother so far as doing things, you know. She may say, son, you know, I want to do this, that, other. What you think? You know, be supportive and be honest.
Okay.
And be honest. Hurt her feelings. Maybe, you know, really, come on, let's be for real.
Yeah.
No, Ma, I don't think that's good. No, you know.
Right. Yes. Yes, you should be honest with your mother. That's what they've taught us to do.
Right.
That's
so,
true.
Be honest, you know.
All right. Okay. I'm going to switch gears to a very, very serious. All of them are serious, but here it is. Here it is. If a child is molested, do you think the child should reveal who the molester is? And if that is so, who should they tell?
Yes, I feel that the child should reveal that.
Yeah.
And they should tell their parents, to your mother, to your father.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm sure it's hard because it depends on the age of the child that was being molested. It depends on if that person threatened them. So you really can't blame the child.
All right. What if the person is grown?
Say that again. What?
The person that was molested, what if they are grown up? They were molested as a child, and they've been carrying this all the way to adulthood. Should they reveal who the person is?
Wow, that's a hard one. That's really a hard one. I could say yes, but then who would it affect? Who and how would this affect people? And also, did this person get therapy? You know, I think that person needs therapy. No matter what age, if it happened to them when they were younger and they're in adulthood now, I feel like they still need therapy.
No, years ago, I was watching an episode of the Oprah Show, and she had a few people on. It happened when they were younger, and these people were in their, 30s, 40s, 50s, and it still tore at their soul.
Right.
It still tore at their soul, and I just think that I don't care how old you get, when you get up the courage to tell your story, whomever it hurts, let the chips fall where they may, because you are so right. Because a grown person has been hurting some, like I said, 30, 40, 50 years old.
Right.
And it should be just let go. Let it out. Let it out.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, you never know what a person is going through. You just never know.
You never know. You don't know what a person has gone through and what they're going through. That's true. You never know. That's why I say it's hard to judge, to be so judgmental of people because you don't know. You don't know what that person has been through.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mary, what do you feel are the 3 most important steps in transitioning a boy into manhood? The 3 most important steps for a boy transitioning to manhood.
Well, I think one would be when they ask advice.
Okay.
Your opinion on things.
Yes.
Doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to take your advice, but I think once they take your advice and at least kind of heed and listen to it, and they might, follow through with your opinion about certain things. The next thing is financial. When he can stand on his own, when he can, save up for a car or save up for an apartment, to get his own. That's the second thing. The third thing would be, it's kind of hard,
Yeah.
I don't want to sound too old-fashioned because I'm not the type of person that believes in, say, for instance, if I had a son, which I do have a son, and he got someone pregnant.
Yes.
I would never, ever suggest them to get married. I just wouldn't because that's not, no.
Yes.
Just because you get pregnant doesn't mean you have to get married.
That is true. That is true.
And I would make sure that I tell my son this, which I have. I've told him just because you get someone pregnant doesn't mean you have to marry them. No, I would not suggest them to get married. No.
What would you suggest?
What I suggest?
Yeah.
You wait. You take care of your child. You can take care of your child. You don't have to get married just to take care of your child.
And
take care of your child. And then look, you still have to, you're not ready to get married at a young age. You're not.
Right.
You're still exploring things.
Mary.
So why put marriage in the mix of it?
Mary.
Yes.
Would you say that your son is an alpha man?
I would say so. Yes. He doesn't sag.
That's nice. I know you're very proud. I know you are.
Yes, I am.
I know you are.
I know he has a nose ring.
Yeah.
Can't remember I know he has some earrings in his ear, but I try not to be judgmental.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen those earrings in the ear lately.
All right.
But sagging, no, that's never been a part of him.
All right. Well.
Braids either.
Okay. Is his dad in the home?
Yeah. But of course, my son doesn't live with us. He has his own.
All right. Your husband, is he an alpha man?
I would think so, yes, most definitely.
All right. So you have 2 alpha men in your life.
Yes.
What would you say makes your son and his dad an alpha man?
The respect that he has for me. I think he had to really, really grow into certain things.
Yes.
That he is now. Sometimes you have girlfriends that come to your lives and they put things in your head, and then he's leaning towards one thing that you didn't teach him. And you didn't teach him, and you know that it's coming from this outside source.
All right.
So you really can't argue too much against it because, of course, they're going to lean towards the outside source. But you have to let them grow.
Right.
And keep your opinions to yourself.
Okay.
It's kind of hard, but you have to let them grow and then let them find out on their own.
Yes.
You know, all the nagging, you know, it's not going to make them see things your way. You already know that.
Right.
They have to find out on their own.
That's true.
So I've learned to keep my 2 cents to myself. Although I may burn somebody's ear off about it, but not his ear. But he's grown. He's really, really grown, and I love that about him. My alpha male, my husband, he's a good dad. He's a great provider.
Just
wish he was just a little more affectionate, but that's no use to him.
Mary, excuse me. At what age do you ask? Let me see how I'm going to put this. At what age do you stop asking questions? And you let him find out on his own. What age?
You talking about the child? You talking about the child?
The child, yes.
Oh, there's no certain age you stop asking. I even ask questions because no one knows everything. No one person knows everything. You always continue to learn things every day. So that would be stupid of the person.
So Mary, excuse me, Mary, for just a second. Hey, Mary,
sure.
this is Miss Cookie, the director, and I just had a really quick question.
Mm-hmm.
With respect to that statement that you made a little bit earlier about when your son becomes of age and he has a girlfriend and, you know, he's listening to outside forces and things, and you said that you just sit back and, you know, you don't ask questions because you got to let him find out on his own?
Right, because in the
at what age? Let me ask, at what age range is that?
Oh, the age range?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Well, I would have to say 17/18.
Okay, and so as he's going into
up until maybe 22, 23.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I understand. I do.
All right.
Sorry to jump in there. That was so important. It was just like eating at me. I had to know.
Right, because that's something that I went through.
Yes,
so.
ma'am.
All right.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah. What makes your husband an alpha man?
He's a good father. He's a good father. Too much of a I won't call him a tyrant, but the way he gave out punishments was just too extreme to me.
Yeah.
It's too extreme. You know, a woman is always a little lax,
right.
Or you know.
What type of discipline, Mary?
Yes.
Mary, what type of discipline would he be giving out?
Like I said, you can't play your PlayStation for 3 months. Come on, be realistic.
Give me 2 more examples, please.
Hard worker. You know, my daddy was a hard worker.
No.
My daddy was a hard worker, so
Get in there.
2 more examples.
We tend to marry our father, so yes, okay. He's a hard worker.
Mary, give me 2 more examples of the hard discipline that your husband may have doled out.
Oh my goodness. No, you can't go to this party. No, you can't. Everything was no. I'm sure you heard that before. No.
Oh yeah. Heard no in my life a lot.
Right. But then the kids would tell me, well, you were like that too, talking about me. So I tried to be a little bit more lenient.
Hey, listen, did the kids come and ask you and try to play you against your husband?
Of course. Yeah.
And did you fall for it?
Well, sometimes I did.
Yeah.
I won't sit up and lie. Sometimes I did. You know, Daddy told me to come ask you. He said I could go, but he said, but for me to come ask you, a lot of times he never even did that. You know, but we laugh about it now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just one more. That was a good one.
Let's see.
One more.
I'm trying to think. You caught me on the spot. Let me see if I can think of anything else. That's the big one.
That's the big one?
That's the big one. Daddy said I could do it, but told me to check with you. So if Daddy said yes, then of course I would. So most of the time I would say yes. If Dad said yes.
All right.
You know. And there were a few times when I said, no. No. Where you going? No.
Right.
No. So, yeah. If Dad said yes, then okay, I co-sign it.
All right. Well, I just wanted to know 3 ways that you feel a child should be disciplined. 3 ways.
Verbally. I can discipline a child verbally. Punishment. Punishment. You have to punish them.
Yeah.
3 ways. What's the other way? It's only 2 ways: verbal and punishment. I can't see a 3rd way.
All right.
I can't think of a 3rd way.
Can't think of a 3rd way.
Tell me.
Well, I truly believe that if the children of today were disciplined, I guess you could say not going overboard, but if they were disciplined and shown the right way to go about things, the world would be a lot better. A lot better. I go into stores and children are just acting up. And they're not being cared for. They're not being corrected. And all this.
That's true. That is so true. But then, I listened maybe about a couple of weeks ago, maybe more than that. This young lady was screaming and cursing. This is on the street. I'm thinking she's speaking to another adult person.
Wow.
I looked down, and the little girl must have been about 3, maybe 4 years old. 3 or 4. So, I felt bad for the little girl. And it's like, it's so unnecessary. So unnecessary.
Yeah.
To talk to a child like that. I don't care at any age. It doesn't matter. Why would you talk to your child like that?
Okay, I got it. Oh. All right. Well, time is wrapping up, but I've got time for 2 more questions. Mary, what is your favorite quote? What's your favorite quote? Or should I say, what is your favorite positive quote? Put it like that.
Well, I'm going to tell you what my quote is. What goes around comes around.
All right.
I love that.
That's good.
That. What goes around comes around.
That's good. That's very true. There are a lot of people that feel that they can do whatever, say whatever. You don't think it's going to come back? Oh, yes, it is. It's going to come back.
Whatever way, right?
Yeah. All right. My last question for you is, how do you present yourself to get a husband?
I think a lot of women sit up here and they give it up so easily, going to bed with the man.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they should go to bed with the man. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they should not have sex.
Yeah.
But he would have to wait a long time. A long time. A long time. Yes, a long time.
Listen. Steve Harvey says 90 days. What do you say about that?
Longer than that. Longer than 90 days. 90 days, nothing but 3 months. For as long as you can hold out, girl. As long as you can hold out, I'm telling you.
Wow. Long as you can hold out.
Yes.
Wow.
What do you think as a male, as an alpha male?
As an alpha male, I think if you two are going to consent to doing it quickly, go ahead. Go right ahead, enjoy yourself, but protect yourselves. Please protect yourselves.
True.
Wow.
I'm speaking from an older woman point of view now. If I was younger, sure. It's gonna be a different.
Yeah.
But hold out for as long as you can, girl.
All right. Okay. Well, Mary, it's been fun. It's been fun. Thank you so much for your presence and just opening up your heart and giving your opinions to all the questions. I'm sure you have helped someone this evening. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for
all right. Now, let me just ask you real quick, what are you and your family doing for Christmas?
Christmas
Yeah.
is really still celebrated with family.
All
I
right.
have a cousin that we celebrate Christmas with, and that's what we're going to be doing.
All right. Okay.
And not only just with my cousin, but my
Sunday evening. Remember, keeping the male agenda alive every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Thank you so much. I'm your host, Sir Harry Tuesday. I'll see you next time. Good evening.
okay.
All right. Have a good evening.